Well, hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have an offering from Okmo. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery, 100 amp hour of capacity. Right here it says powering your freedom. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what's included in this package. Nice foam packaging. You can see this card that comes in there, powering your freedom. It does give you their website, okmotech.com. And then on the back here of this service card, it gives you some information there and support at okmotech.com. They are an Amazon seller, so in the event that you're on Amazon looking for a battery, you can find that. We do have a product manual here. So this is a 12.8 volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery with low temperature charge protection, which is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and thumb through this fairly quickly. Please feel free to pause your screen if you want to read any of this information a little bit longer. Right here you see some overview of the product. Right there, charging voltage. The weight of the battery is 23.15 pounds, and it does have a capacity of 1280 watt hours. Right there are the dimensions. So 10.04 inches wide, 6.5 inches deep, and 8.27 inches tall. So very cool. Right here it does come with M8 bolts, 5/16 long. There is an FCC statement. A little bit more information there on that FCC statement. I like how they make this nice and thick. This isn't thin paper. It's a good thick paper that they use for this manual here. Installation and preparation information right there. So very cool. Important safety instructions. And moving on, we can see more information there, safety instructions. And lastly, right here, nice information here. And then right here there's some warning information. Now right here on this page you can see battery parameters. This is the model number. The cell type, lithium iron phosphate, 12.8 volts nominal, 100 amp capacity, 1280 watt hours of capacity, 5-year warranty here. Now the depth of discharge depends on how many cycles you're going to get. So this is, if you withdraw this battery all the way down to 0 and take it all the way down 100%, you can get 4,000 cycles out of this battery. But if you only go down to 80%, where you have 20% left, you can get 6,000 cycles. Now if you go down to 60% depth of discharge, where you have 40% left, you get 15,000 cycles. That is crazy. It does have a 100 amp BMS on board. The standard discharge current is 50 amps. The recommended charge current is 20 amps. Very cool. Moving on to the next page, we still have more parameters. Maximum continuous charge current is 50 amps. 23.15 pounds, like I said earlier. This housing material is ABS plastic that's flame retardant. IPX5 water resistant rating, so to withstand dust, water, salt, stuff like that. Now right here are some temperature ranges for charging. You can charge the battery from 32 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're below 32 degrees, the low temperature charge cutoff will happen. And then discharge, you can do it all the way down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Storage, anywhere from 14 degrees all the way up to 122 degrees. So that's good information there, and it does have low temperature charge protection, like I said. You can run up to 4 batteries in parallel, up to 4 batteries in a series, or you can do up to 16 batteries 4S4P as noted here. Very cool. And then it does talk about different charging methods. You can use a solar panel, and you need about 400 watts, and it says that it would do that in about a day, 1 day right here with 400 watts. If you have a 20 amp controller for your solar, tells you what settings you need and stuff like that. So very cool. There are the parameters that you would need for your charge controller if you're going to charge via solar. Very cool. And then the second way to charge this would be a battery charger. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to use, I believe, a 20 amp charger, so that's what they actually recommend. And they say that it takes about 5 hours if you're using a 20 amp battery charger. That's what we'll be doing today. Very cool. Then it goes on to talk about how to connect your batteries. You got to wear some gloves to insulate your hands. They do talk about balancing out the battery voltages before connecting other batteries to each other. And then they talk about connecting them in a series. You're going to put the positive from battery number 1 to the negative on battery number 2. And then of course, if you want them in parallel, you'll put the battery positive from number 1 to the positive on number 2, and such and so forth. And then again, there's how you would do 8 batteries. Very nice. I like this manual. It's got some good information here. Nice, easy steps to follow. And then right there is what you would get if you had 24 volts. That's what you could achieve if you do 4 parallel, 2 in series. Very cool. And then right there on the back, powering your freedom, and then there is some contact information for Okmo. And the next thing that we see here in this box is this little package of bolts, and there's 4 of them. Very nice that they include 4. And I love it when manufacturers use Phillips on their batteries for the bolts. I love that. So that's nice that those come with it. And you can see that the battery is packaged very well. It's protected very well inside the box. There's foam all the way around it. And you do have these side handles that will pop up. So from here we can pull the battery straight up out of the box. There's nothing left in the box. And there's the first look at the battery. Now, as you can see, coming out of the packaging here, it does come with this little plastic to protect the top of it from being scratched and stuff like that. It does come with these insulators already installed from the factory that would minimize the potential for this thing to short circuit while it's in shipment or storage. So it's nice that they come with those. Very cool. So anytime I get another battery from someone, I always like to take my voltmeter and check the battery voltage of the battery once I receive it from shipment. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what kind of voltage we have out of the box. 12.78, 12.79 volts. So that looks good. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of these bolts on, and I'm also going to use the leads that I use for my lithium iron phosphate battery charger. It's got a little Anderson connection here. So I'm just going to put these on, and then we will start charging here pretty soon. This is a 20 amp charger, and what it has is it's got this little green LED indicator here telling us that it's ready to charge. Now when I make this connection with these two Andersons, this green LED will turn to red and then it'll turn green again when charging is complete. So I'll just set that down and we'll plug these in. And the battery charger has stopped, so let me go ahead and disconnect this cable, and charging should be complete. Let's take the voltmeter here and see what voltage our battery is at fully charged. So we are looking at 13.40 volts. This battery is fully charged and ready to hook up and test. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect these connections here from the charger. And we are going to use a 1500 watt alpha pure sine wave inverter today for testing. This is a good sine wave inverter. I just love this thing. So it's very easy to hook this up. I'll just take the positive here and the negative and put them to the corresponding terminals on the battery. Now when you connect the positive terminal, if you see a small spark, don't panic. That's because the battery is putting voltage into the capacitors. So usually what I like to do is I'll put the bolt on the post there for a second and I'll just tap it. Get that spark out of the way, and then I can go ahead and connect this positive terminal. So when I turn on the inverter, we can see it'll give us a reading of the battery voltage, it'll give us a reading of the voltage output in AC voltage, and it'll also give us any alternating current amperage output. So very nice. And the green indicator tells us that we can now use this power inverter. So we're going to start off the testing today with this small heater. We'll just go ahead and plug in this little heater. We'll turn on the fan and see if the fan runs. Right there. And the fan is running just fine. It doesn't show any output yet because that fan doesn't draw too much, but if I go up to 1, that'll actually start pulling heat. So as you can see, the battery voltage dropped because we're pulling the load off the battery, and we're putting out 2.1 amps, 2.2 amps, and it'll continue to climb until the heater gets up to temperature. And I can feel it's putting out a pretty nice amount of heat. This thing works pretty good. 4.5 amps. Not bad at all. 4.7, and that's just on low heat. And in this room I can feel that heat. This is a small room, it's about 12 by 12. 5.2 amps. Now if I kick it up to 2, we're really gonna kick up some heat. We're gonna go up to high. So as you can see right here, it already jumped up to 9.7 amps. That's fantastic. 10.4 amps. So it's definitely drawing a lot off the battery. The battery, as you can see, is running this test, passing it with flying colors, 10.5 amps. So I'm going to reach over and feel these cables, and they are cool to the touch. I don't feel anything wrong. Let's drop it back down to 1, and it's working great. Now we're pulling about 500 to 600 watts on low. So not too bad. And then if we drop it down to just the fan, let's see if it'll register. No, it's not even registering anything. Now as I turn this off, you'll notice that the battery voltage climbs back up. That's because when we're using power, we're going to be withdrawing and the electricity's moving, so it's kind of like water almost. It will show a lower voltage while you're drawing it. So let's kick it back onto high again real quick, and you can see that. See it drop down from 13 something down to 12 something. So, but the battery is working fine with this test. Let's switch on, turn this off, and start a different test here. Now the next item that I'm going to check is this little waffle iron. On the bottom here on this plate, it says 700 watts. So let's go ahead and plug this waffle iron in. Let's give this thing a shot. We already have it on max, and I can see the little red indicator here, so I'm going to wait for it to turn green, and then we'll see if we can get a waffle going. This should be a good test. And as you can see, if we look at the power inverter, we're drawing 5.3 amps of power. And it doesn't take long to get this thing up to temperature. When I reach down to the sides of the unit, I can feel the plates are definitely heating up quickly. Okay, now we have the green indicator telling us that the waffle iron is ready, and as you can see, now that this thing's hot, it reduced the amperage down to almost 0. So we'll go ahead and open this up. Nice and hot. Let's go ahead and pour in some mix here. And we will shut that bad boy down and let that waffle cook. This is pretty fun. Now, before this thing turned green, it was still red. It was heating up. We were drawing 111 volts at 5.3 amps, and I did the math on that. 5.3 amps was about just under 600 watts, so 588 watts. Now you can see that the green indicator came off. We're pulling them amperage again because it's cooking. We'll just let this thing cook until we see the green indicator pop up one more time. So as we can see, we are cooking along just fine. We got a little steam coming off. I think this thing should be done pretty soon. These waffles don't take long. Okay, our waffle iron has given us the green indicator. Let's go ahead and open it up. Pull that bad boy out. Look at that. That is a perfect waffle. Let's put another one in. So we'll just put a little bit more in there. And we'll get another waffle going here. Drop that puppy down. Oh yeah, look at that. A nice buttery waffle. Oh, that looks delicious. This battery's working well. So as you can see, this waffle maker is working very well. The inverter's putting out 111 volts and it's drawing 5.3 amps. The math on that is about 588 watts of power that this waffle iron is pulling. I'm going to reach over and check these cables, and they are still cool to the touch. I don't feel any heat or anything in them. And as you can see, the battery is working very well cooking these waffles. And the second waffle green light just came on. Let's go ahead and open this up and take a look. Oh wow, take a look at that. That looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and get some butter on that bad boy. Oh yeah, this is the kind of butter that I like. This stuff is fantastic. Here we're going to use some of this log cabin syrup. I love syrup. And when I have my waffles, I put a lot of syrup on them. So, I guess you guys know what I'm going to do here for a minute. And you can't have a waffle without sausage, folks. Oh my goodness. This battery is working fantastic. So obviously I'm done cooking waffles. Let's go ahead and unplug this waffle iron. And as you can see, the voltage of the battery climbed back up, and it'll continue to climb a little bit as the battery recovers from this load. But the waffle iron worked great. The battery worked absolutely wonderful. Okay, another product that I always like testing are these pressure cookers. I like doing these when I test batteries or inverters, because these are the kind of items that you could use in an off-grid situation. And to be honest with you guys, we use this all the time for cooking when we're off the grid. So let's go ahead and plug this in. As you can see, the battery recovered its voltage. We're back up to 13.2. This already has water in it. We're going to just hit that pressure cook button and see what kind of wattage we draw, what kind of amperage we're going to pull from that battery. So this thing pulls about 1,000 watts. So we should see something about, I would say, over 10 amps. So 7.4 amps right now. So right now you can see 111 volts, 7.4 amps. That's a roughly 821 watts that this thing is pulling right now off of the battery. So I reach over, I feel the cables, they're cool to the touch, As you can see, the battery is working fantastic running this pressure cooker. Now once this thing comes up to pressure, what we're going to see is we'll see the battery voltage will climb and when this amperage drops. So I'm just going to let this thing run for a minute and let it come up to pressure. And there you can see we have now came up to pressure. The battery voltage is starting to climb. We have 0 amperage being drawn. I'm going to reach over and fill these cables. They are cool to the touch. As you can hear, the fan is kicked on the inverter. This is a pretty good draw. It's a pretty good test. This thing is working absolutely fantastic. This battery is good. Well folks, my final thoughts on this Okmo 12.8 volt 100 amp lithium iron phosphate battery are very good. I like this battery. This is a group 24 battery. I love the fact that it has the low temperature charge protection. The operating voltage of this battery is 12.8 volts. The charging voltage is 14.6 volts. They recommend a charge current of at least 20 amps, and a maximum continuous discharge current of this battery is 100 amps. And as you can see, this battery has a capacity of 1280 watt hours. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and if you're interested in this Okmo battery, I'll put a link in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.